There are at least 12 distinct types of anxiety. You can probably name 2. The rest you've felt. Late at night, in elevators, before sleep, in the silence after a text goes unread. But you've never had a word for them. By the end of this video, you will. Because the worst feeling isn't anxiety itself. It's anxiety without a name. Anxiety isn't a flaw. It's a circuit. Your amygdala, a small almond-shaped node deep in your brain, runs a permanent threat scan, looking for danger in everything you see, hear, and remember. When it fires, your heart rate climbs, your breath shortens, your muscles tense. The same response that saved your ancestors from predators is now triggered by an unread email at 11 p.m. The system isn't broken. It's just running in a world it wasn't designed for. 1. Generalized anxiety disorder. The version most people picture when they hear the word, it's not panic. It's not a phobia. It's a slow, low, constant hum, worry that doesn't attach to anything specific, but never really lets go. Your amygdala stops calibrating. Instead of firing at real threats, it fires at everything. The conversation you had 3 hours ago. The meeting next Tuesday. The question of whether you locked the door. Living inside it feels like browser tabs that won't close. You can function. You can work. You can laugh at the right moments. But there's always a second track running underneath. Scanning, listing, anticipating. The hidden cost is sleep. People with GAD don't have trouble falling asleep. They have trouble stopping. The brain stays on long after the body wants off. You're not overthinking. You're undersleeping. Different problem, same exhausted face. 2. Social anxiety. Fear of being perceived. It's not shyness. Shyness is quiet. Social anxiety is a courtroom. Every interaction becomes a trial, and you're the defendant arguing for the right to exist in the room. The prefrontal cortex over-rehearses every word before you say it, then replays every word after. The amygdala flags neutral faces as threats. A coworker who didn't smile becomes a coworker who hates you. In the moment, you sweat. Your voice tightens, your jokes time out. After the moment, you rerun the conversation for hours, finding things you should have said differently. The hidden cost is avoidance. You start declining invitations to skip the dread, and the world quietly shrinks. Friendships thin. Opportunities pass. You're not awkward. You're just running 10 times the social processing everyone else gets to skip. The reason you're tired after parties isn't that you don't like people. It's that you fought through them. 3. Panic disorder. Anxiety with a body slammed by a freight train. A panic attack is the body's threat response, firing at full strength with nothing to fight. Heart pounding, chest tightening, tunnel vision, the world going strange and far away. It feels exactly like dying, and the brain catalogs it that way, which is what makes the next one worse. People go to the ER convinced they're having a heart attack. They aren't. But the body doesn't know the difference. Panic disorder is when these attacks start arriving without a trigger. At the gym, on the train, in bed at 3 a.m. The brain has miswired the alarm to fire at the alarm itself. The hidden cost is fear of fear. Sufferers stop going places where the last attack happened. The map of safe spaces shrinks, sometimes to one room. You're not crazy. Your nervous system is just a thermostat that broke. The thermostat lies. The room is fine. You were never the danger. 4. Health anxiety, sometimes called illness anxiety, formerly hypochondria. Every twitch is a tumor. Every headache is a stroke. Every heartbeat too loud is a cardiac event. The mind catalogs ordinary bodily noise and reads it as warning. WebMD becomes a horror anthology. The mechanism is a misfiring interoceptive system, the brain's process of reading internal signals. Most people don't notice their pulse. The health anxious notice it constantly, then ask why. The asking is the spiral. Behaviorally, you check. You check pulse, moles, lymph nodes, tongue color. The relief lasts minutes. Then the doubt returns and the check repeats. Doctors can't reassure you for long because the engine isn't logic. It's threat detection running on a closed loop. The hidden cost is medical fatigue. Real symptoms get ignored because you've cried wolf to yourself 1,000 times. You're not a hypochondriac. You're a body that learned to listen too closely. That's a skill turned against you. 5. Performance anxiety. The mind freezing exactly when it's asked to deliver. The presentation, the exam, the first date, the serve. The note in the audition room. Stakes raise. Attention narrows, and suddenly the skill you've practiced for years feels foreign in your own hands. The mechanism is the prefrontal cortex flooding with cortisol. Working memory shrinks. Fine motor control wobbles. The very thing performance requires, flow, is the thing. Anxiety blocks first. What makes it cruel is that the people most prone to it are usually the most prepared. The careless don't get nervous. The careful do. The hidden cost is identity. After enough freezes, you start to believe you're not actually skilled. You're a fraud who's been lucky until now. Imposter syndrome moves in. You're not bad under pressure. You're a system that cares too much to be casual. The same wiring that makes you choke is the wiring that makes you good. 6. Anticipatory anxiety. The fear of the thing before the thing. Remember the circuit. Amygdala scanning for threat. Body responding. Anticipatory anxiety is what happens when the scan turns on a future event and refuses to switch off. The body floods days, sometimes weeks, ahead of an event that hasn't arrived. The flight is Friday. The dread starts Monday. You replay the scenario. You game out every collapse. You wake at 4 a.m., having a conversation that hasn't happened yet. By the time the event arrives, you've already lived through 40 versions of it. The mechanism is the brain's predictive engine running on overdrive. Your ancestors needed to imagine the lion in the tall grass. You're imagining the awkward pause in the job interview. The hidden cost is exhaustion before the starting line. You arrive at the event already drained, having fought a fight no one else can see. You're not weak. You're just rehearsing too well. 7. Existential anxiety. The kind that has no object. It arrives at strange hours, usually at night, usually alone. You think about death, or the size of the universe, or whether your life means anything, or whether the people who love you would still love you if they knew everything you've ever thought. The dread isn't about a specific problem. It's about the fact of being. The mechanism is the same circuit, redirected at abstractions. The amygdala can't actually scan for meaning, so it floods anyway. The hidden cost is dissociation. To survive the dread, the mind detaches, and what was once a vivid life starts to feel like a film you're watching from outside. You're not depressed. You're just looking at the questions most people work very hard not to ask. The dread is the price of paying attention. Most people pay in installments. 8. Separation anxiety. Yes, adults get it too. It's not just toddlers and clingy dogs. Adult separation anxiety is the panic that rises when a partner, parent, or close friend is unreachable. Calls unanswered, messages unread, location unknown. The mind builds an instant horror reel. Car crash. Hospital. Betrayal. Leaving. The mechanism is attachment wiring. Early childhood experiences calibrate the brain's sense of how reliable connection is. If the calibration came in wrong, inconsistent caregivers, loss, abandonment, the system stays on high alert into adulthood. Every silence becomes evidence. Every late reply becomes a goodbye. The hidden cost is intimacy itself. The same fear that makes you cling is the fear that pushes people away. You text too often, ask too many questions, mistake distance for danger. Partners feel watched. Watched people leave. You're not needy. You're a circuit calibrated for loss that hasn't received an update. The work is teaching it that this time is different. 9. Phobia-driven anxiety. Fear shaped like a specific object. Heights. Spiders, needles, enclosed spaces, blood, vomit, driving over bridges. The object varies, but the engine is identical. A single category of trigger has been carved into the threat map with disproportionate weight. The mechanism is associative learning gone wide. Often there's a founding moment, a fall, a sting, a panic in a tight space, and the brain over-encodes it, then generalizes outward. Suddenly, all enclosed spaces are the bad one. The original event becomes a template. The mind applies everywhere. The hidden cost is the contortion of life around the avoidance. People with severe phobias plan routes around bridges, careers around airplanes, intimacy around the fear of vulnerability disguised as something else. You're not irrational. You're protecting yourself from a memory. The brain refuses to demote from threat to history. The phobia isn't the spider. It's the day your brain decided spiders mattered that much. 10. OCD pattern anxiety. Anxiety that demands ritual. Obsessive-compulsive disorder is named for what people see, the compulsions. But the anxiety underneath is the engine. An intrusive thought arrives. What if I left the stove on? What if I'm secretly a bad person? What if I touched something contaminated? And the brain refuses to let it pass without proof of safety. The compulsion is the proof. Check the stove. Wash again. Repeat the prayer. Recite the phrase. The relief lasts seconds. Then the doubt returns. The mechanism is a broken doubt circuit. Most brains can mark a check as complete. OCD brains can't. The signal that says you're done never fires. The hidden cost is time. Hours a day vanish into rituals. The world watches it as superstition. The sufferer experiences it as the only thing standing between them and catastrophe. You're not obsessive by choice. You're a system stuck in the verify loop, waiting for an all-clear that never gets sent. 11. Post-traumatic hypervigilance. The nervous system that never came back down. When something genuinely dangerous happens, a crash, an assault, a long stretch of fear, the body adapts to survive. Heart rate up. Reflexes faster. Sleep lighter. Attention scanning every doorway, every footstep, every face. The problem isn't the response. The response is correct. The problem is that the response doesn't switch off when the danger does. Months or years later, the brain is still treating ordinary life as a battlefield. You startle at small sounds. You sit facing the exit. You can't sleep with anyone behind you. Your body is still inside the moment your mind has tried to forget. The hidden cost is connection. People mistake your watchfulness for coldness. Partners feel locked out. You don't mean to be distant. You mean to be safe. You're not damaged. You're a system that survived something and hasn't yet been told it's over. Telling it takes longer than most people think. 12. High-functioning anxiety. The one nobody notices because the results look like success. This is the version that wins. You over-prepare for everything. You arrive early, you answer fast, you never miss a deadline. From the outside, you look organized, capable, ahead. From the inside, the engine driving it is fear of falling behind, of being found out, of stopping for 1 second and discovering the whole thing collapses without your constant attention. There's no diagnostic label for it yet. Clinicians debate whether it's GAD wearing makeup or something else entirely. But millions of people live inside it. The achievement is real. The fuel is exhaustion. The hidden cost is rest. You can't take a vacation without checking your phone. You can't have a slow Sunday without guilt. The body never gets a stand-down signal because the brain has decided the threat is everywhere, all the time. You're not lucky to be driven. You're paying a tax most people never see on the receipt. That's 12. The complete list. Look, if you recognized yourself in 3 of those, you're not unusually broken. You're unusually paying attention. Anxiety isn't a defect, no matter how many times you've been told it is. It's a feature that misfires in a world it wasn't designed for. The amygdala built for the savannah is now living in your DMs, your calendar, your group chat. Of course it's overwhelmed. Here's the thing nobody tells you. The dangerous version of anxiety isn't the one you have a name for. It's the one you don't. The vague, low static you've been carrying since you were a teenager. The one you can't describe to a therapist because you don't have language for it. That's the one that does the most damage. Because what you can name, you can work with. What you can't name owns you. So if any of these 12 fit, sit with the name for a minute. Don't pathologize it. Don't try to fix it tonight. Just notice, there's a word for it now. And that word is yours. If this video helped, drop a comment with the type that hit closest. Bro reads them all, no cap. Subscribe if you want the rest of the list. Every cognitive bias, every defense mechanism, every type of intrusive thought. And we'll keep working through it together. Take care of yourself tonight. Sleep if you can. Stop the scanning if you can, especially the parts of you that have been working too hard to be noticed.